Are you feeling like life's against you? Like you're a bit of a victim to certain things, and I'll explain that word in a minute. And things are like really, really hard for you, and you want to feel more empowered, more in control of your life. Well, today I'm going to talk about this and some points that you can take away to feel more empowered in your life. So, thank you for being here. I appreciate you for listening. Now, I used to be someone who just like anything went against my model of the world, in other words, what I thought should happen in life, I'd get angry and frustrated. And you can probably see a problem with that, right? It'd be like in the workplace. If everything to plan didn't go to plan, I'd be annoyed. If I was dating someone and it didn't work out, I'd be really upset. If I didn't play amazing in football and be the best player, I'd be upset. Yeah, you can probably see a problem with that because life doesn't happen on my terms. It happens how it happens, right? And I used to get really upset, angry, anxious, all these kind of things, right? And I felt like, oh, life's against me. Oh, life's so hard. It's exhausting. And now and then, can I fall into that mode? Yes. I'm a lot quicker at pulling myself out of it though. And it's not a great place to live in, to be honest, being like in that whole, oh, life always happens to me. I like circumstances challenging. Now I want to talk about the word victim because I know this can be quite precious. Again, I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm just sharing my point of view. Obviously, there is some serious things that happen to people out there. We won't go down like all these cases or anything like that, but I know some people go through some horrible, horrible things in their life, things that I've never gone through, right? Unnamely things, right? And the word victim is sometimes used to like make you feel like you're fighting something or you've got a chance. But also for me, victim can mean you're subject to circumstance. And we're talking about the sense of you not feeling like you're empowered and in control of your life when we use the word victim. In this sense, that's what I mean by it. Again. Now, obviously, what we're talking about is when something happens to someone that is not very nice, you know, wherever on the scale it is, we're not blaming the person at all. Like, unfortunately, sad things happen, and I want to send all my love to anyone who's gone through anything. I'm talking about when you're in a place of like, oh, life always happens to me, this happened, that happened, and I'm not in control. Because it's not a great place to be when we live there emotionally all the time. So that's what I'm talking about today. And I really want to give some points because I've been there. I've been like, oh, it never works out for football. Oh, always goes wrong for me. Like these obviously minor cases. Oh, I never get, it never works out in my dating life. It's like, oh, I never get a job, all those kind of things. And yeah, that's not a very empowered place. I'm like thinking life's against me and I'm subject to circumstances rather than taking life by the hand and going for it, if that's the right phrase. So I want to talk about some points that really help me move into a more empowered, like flow kind of place where I'm working hard, but it comes from a more flow place and I'm not subject to circumstances. And if something goes wrong, I can look at it a different way. So number one, and there's a great book I'd recommend as well called Power versus Force it's a great book. Definitely recommend David Hawkins' A Map of Consciousness. It's a great book. Now, the first point I want to mention is don't live in desire too much. Why do you not want to live in desire? It's like, what shouldn't we have desires and all these kind of things? Yeah, like it's great to have goals, ambitions, all these kind of things. Problem is, if you live in desire too much, I find, and I've been guilty of living in daydreams, all this kind of things, it can cause like dissatisfaction and unhappiness and pull you a little bit into victimhood of, oh, my circumstances aren't working out and I'm so far from where I want to be when you get trapped there. And it can actually cause addiction because you get into escaping reality. And that's not just drugs and alcohol. I've been down the alcohol path where I've like completely escaped reality for a few days. But you can get into like social media, get into porn, get into like just living in a fantasy. So have goals, have ambition, have like a first level desire of like, I want this and I'm going to make it happen, but don't live like you're separate from it and it's not going to happen and you have to numb and escape. That's the first thing I say, because that's not a good way to live. The second point is you're going to see the world at your level of consciousness. So look at where you live the majority of your life. Do you live in anger? Do you live in anxiety? Do you live in shame? Do you live in guilt? Or do you live in joy? Do you live in courage? Do you live in more of a loving place, which are higher levels of consciousness, going back to that book? And then think about how you can raise your consciousness, because how can you live in more of a loving place, a joyful place, even if it's hard at first? Like a loving place, you can just put your hand on your heart every single day and make the intention to connect to love, and then do something kind for someone each day. At first it's going to seem cheesy and hard, but eventually you'll be building that muscle. I connect to my heart every single day. And then the third thing is magic moments and signs. Like when things are going right for you, just keep a log of those. When things show up that you're really grateful for, make a log of those, because that will show that things are going for you in your life. And actually, there is some beauty in life. And then the final thing I would say is think about a time when you've overcome something in the past. Like it just seemed like everything was against you, the odds were against you, and you overdid it. Like for me, it was getting a job. I had a job, but it was getting a permanent job. And then I was just like constantly getting job rejections, and it was just like really frustrating. I overcame that, and I went to an even better job. So I have that as an example of like, I got those rejections because life was actually directing me onto something better, right? I can think of that in dating as well. Like I was dating a girl and we had a lot in common, but this is years back, there's no real spark or chemistry there that I've seen on dates before. And I was like, it's really difficult. And I wasn't like absolutely gutted, or anything like that. But then it didn't work out. And then a few weeks later, I meet this absolute stunning, amazing girl who I got on with, we had stuff in common, and there was extreme chemistry. So again, that was like life directed me. When I write moments like that, that really, really helps me. Even recently, I've had to go into this and I'm like, okay, this didn't work out. So how's that taking me to someone else or something else right now? And it's given me opportunity to really get my mental health videos out there, because I'm sharing stuff with guys. So that you're always being directed. When you can see that, it's so hard in the moment. That's why it's important to process emotions when you've lost something, whatever that is, a job, a relationship, or someone else, to actually feel it. But in minor or smaller events than that, it's really useful to kind of see the gift of things in the past and how things have showed up better in the future, because that can make you be like, oh, I'm hopeful, and this is potential for something to show up even better right now. So that's what I've got in terms of shifting victim mentality to empowerment. So going through those again, don't live in desire too much. Don't live in the unreality of where you are. That's not even a word, the non-reality of where you are. And then make sure you know your level of consciousness. Where is your emotional home? Where do you live? Your level of consciousness. Read the book Power versus Force. I'd recommend to understand more on that, on the map of consciousness. But yeah, think about how you can live in a more joyful, loving, courageous kind of life. And that can start by putting your hand on your heart and being kind to someone each day, even if it's difficult. 3, magic moments and signs list, when something shows up and you're getting directed somewhere else. And then the 4th one, what's the time when you overcame something in the past that was challenging? And that will show you a great opportunity for how something could turn around. Again, if you got, and being really clear, if you've got like a serious thing you've gone through, obviously do seek professional support as well. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.